All right. I'm gonna wait for everybody to kind of log on here. Wait just a minute. I'm waiting for everybody to log on. Hello. You guys can hear me. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Sorry, I was literally outside all day today. So I like looked up, I'm like, how is it 7 o'clock already? It can't be 7. It is. It's 7 o'clock already. So, hi, everybody. I'm just making sure I'm live on. I'm trying this platform again with my restream. So I'm making sure that I'm live on all my platforms here. I think so. Let me see. How do I tell if I am? I don't know if you guys, I'm trying to figure out if I am live on Instagram or not. That's my pickle right now. So I'm just trying to figure this out. I think I am. Verify what? I'm on Instagram. Oh, yay, that's what I need to know. All righty. Okay. All right, this is good. On Facebook too. Holy crap, it's working. All righty. So I'm supposed to go live tonight on Instagram for the Q&A. So I thought, well, we'll check out this restream and see if I can go live on Facebook as well. So I'm live on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram right now. So, and I think I figured out how to like do Instagram and get it up right and all that stuff. So we're good. All right. So if you guys have never done a Q&A with me, pretty easy going. Just ask any questions that you want. I'm not going to be doing personal readings, but I will help you to understand spiritual stuff. So that's what my job is. So I love teaching. I love helping you guys out with stuff like this. So that's kind of where we're at. I think the biggest thing right now this week, it's very, very much about inner work. There's a lot of stuff where you really need to kind of check in with yourself a little bit. I know I was outside most of the day today. I left my phone behind. I just really needed to unplug a little bit. So make sure that you guys are really unplugging and checking in with yourself. Are you where you want to be? Is it time to change something up? Because here's the deal. The eclipse season starts next week. And whenever eclipses hit, it's got dramas coming to the surface. So if we can nip it in the ass now, get it done. So if you have to have that hard conversation, if you need to quit the job and get a new one, if you really need to begin to change up the routine, this is your week to do it. Next week, it's going to get done for you if you don't either acknowledge it this week or at least start in on it. So because we're supposed to change. Everybody changes. You're supposed to. I know everybody likes it when everything's even keel and when everything's going easy, but it's not supposed to be that way. It's not. You're supposed to learn, grow, and change. And so just know that whenever eclipses happen, there's a 2-week span of this eclipse season, and it really is a lot of juggling things up, but it also brings drama to the surface. That's always what it does. So, but like I said, if you got something to really speak your truth with a relationship, now's the time to do it. Let's see. Nope, you're Aaron. If you're seeing the 4s and you're seeing Cardinals and Blue Jays, and you just got done changing up your job, that's just telling me that you're on the right track. You needed to change up that job, so that was absolutely the right track. So. Lost your voice for a couple days, it's because you're not speaking your truth. If you lose your voice, it's kind of like if you don't use it, you lose it. So that means to tell me that you're biting your tongue way too much. You know damn well what you want to say, but you're not saying it because you don't like confrontation, or it might upset somebody, or you're going to feel guilty about it if you do. So speak your truth. Always speak your truth. There's a way to say it nice, and there's a way to be a butthole about it. So but you have to talk about if somebody's mistreating you so they can understand that that's not acceptable behavior. So, but I'm fully aware it's difficult to talk about stuff like that, but biting your tongue isn't going, you're the only one that suffers with that one. And then what ends up happening is you gain resentment with that person, or you bottle everything up, and then the eclipse happens and you blow up like a powder keg. So, let's see here. Getting impatient with the baby, having lots of Braxton Hicks. Yep, I've known a couple people that are pregnant right now, and they're having a lot of Braxton Hicks, and they're getting sent home. So hang in there. Let's see here. How can you tell dust orbs in pictures? Cheesy, I will tell you, I consider all orbs that are in pictures as dust. I want to see a damn figure. Like, I want to see a ghost. I want to see something different than a bunch of dust. And the only time you can differentiate if it's a dust or not is if it's glowing within itself. So remember, if a camera is especially if there's a sun involved, if you got any like candlelight or sunlight involved in the picture, those green orbs are refraction from your camera lens. They are not spirit. And I don't count orbs and pictures as spirit too. I don't. I've been a paranormal investigator for years, and that's not enough evidence for me. It's not. So show me a bodily figure that you took 3 pictures of, and that middle picture, there's no way that you can, that that's going to be fake. You can't fake that. So, but yeah, I'm a big, like I said, I'm not a big believer in orbs. I'm really not. I'm very skeptical when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm probably the most skeptical psychic medium to take into a paranormal research situation anyway. So, because I'm going to make sure it's not electrical, or the wind isn't moving, or something. So, what about starting new relationships and new beginnings? Now's the perfect time. Go for it. How do you not let people get away with hurting you as an empath without reacting? Kia, look at how they were raised. A lot of times you're going to look at them and go, wow, you didn't have a mom in your life, so no wonder why you don't have any girlfriends in your life, right? So you can either look at that, or at the same time, say something and speak your truth about it. I know it, like I said, I know it's uncomfortable, but I don't let anybody disrespect me. But there's a way, oftentimes, that when somebody does say something like that, I will say, well, what exactly do you mean by that? And I'll play dumb. And when you leave it an open-ended question like that, it really puts them on the spot and makes them uncomfortable. So that's usually what I do. Let's see. Are people around me at all times? Yes. Yeah, that's the one thing I can honestly say I don't understand, which is loneliness. I don't understand that because I've always had spirit around. So yeah. Let's see. What crystals are good for empaths who sense auras heavily? Usually, best ones for empaths are going to be like chrysocolla, azurite. Azurite's okay. The other one is, amazonite. So that's a really good one to have. And I would always tell my empaths always to have a piece of black obsidian or any sort of obsidian, because that's going to protect you from negativity, or just protect you from negative energy vampires. So it seems like a lot of people and pets are leaving right now. Is that a way for everybody? No, it's not just you, Lindsay. It's everybody. I've been saying this, that until about the 4th of July, the way that Jupiter is sitting, until about the 4th of July, we're going to have a lot of loss, myself included. So everybody's included in this. So you're going to see kind of a weird mass exodus right now, but you're also going to see a lot of babies being born too. And the main reason for that is they didn't sign up for this new world stuff. So if they didn't sign up for it in their contract before they incarnated here on Earth, they're going to go home. So that's okay. It's just, they're just not going to be here for that. So sucks, but it's true. And that includes animals too. Really does. Let's see. If you know something in your gut deep down, is that intuition? Every time, absolutely yes. Every time, absolutely yes. Is now a good time to get rid of pain? Yep. Otherwise, it's really going to really bite you in the ass here when the eclipse season comes. Let's see. First steps in learning how to understand energy and how it works. Brittany, look into Reiki. I teach Reiki classes, so look into that. I teach it very unconventional because if I'm going to certify you, I want to make sure that one, you know what the hell you're doing. Two, that you know what that energy feels like and what the energy flow feels like and what a blockage feels like too. So I do teach it untraditional. But I also have guinea pigs come in so you guys can work on people before you leave my class. So again, you know what you feel confident with what you're doing. A lot of teachers don't do that. That's why I tell people I'm a UCI Reiki master, so I can teach it, but I do teach it untraditional. If you want traditional, don't go to me. Let's see here. I see myself as an entrepreneur, don't know which business to pick and start. What's your hobby? What do you feel like you could teach right now? That's what you should sell right there. Whatever you think that you could teach right now, whatever that is, that's the direction that you should be looking at. If a loved one reincarnates, are you able to connect with them anymore? I can. I'm talking to their higher self. So just because they've incarnated here again doesn't mean I can't talk to them. I just talk to their higher self. So yeah, I can. Thought on the Schumann being knocked out for over 24 hours. You know what? Go outside. Whenever the Schumann acts up like that, go outside. That's why I literally spent about 2.5 to 3 hours and no shoes on outside today. And I quite literally went out in the woods. So, because I knew that Schumann was going to be funky as hell. So whenever the Schumann resonance spikes, which is like the Earth's heartbeat, we're kind of little off-putted today. Tomorrow we're going to be really bitchy, really crabby, and nobody's going to sleep worth a crap. And the next day after that, we're going to be exhausted, completely exhausted. So my mom is in hospice. Nurses can't believe how she's hanging on. We don't want her to suffer. Is she waiting for somebody or what? A lot of times, Mary, they need permission to go home. So tell her it's time to go home and she can go home and that you're going to be just fine. Mamas will hold on until either all their family is there or they get permission to go. So give her permission to go home. When you hear 3 knocks at the door, how long do you wait? You don't open the door, Mary. 3 knocks at the door, you don't open that door. I would wait for a good hour before. Let's see. I teach Reiki here in Omaha. I cannot do that via Zoom because it's so hands-on. If you go to my website, you can read all about it. That and Enlightenment Academy too. So I'm teaching Enlightenment Academy this weekend. I heard a voice say, hey, twice in my left ear Saturday when you were fishing. Jessica, that's usually your spirit guide. Almost always is your spirit. It could be a ghost. I'm not going to say it's not a ghost, but it could be. It most likely is a spirit guide. So let's see. Hands are hot, tingling in the right ear. Jennifer, look into Reiki because if your hands are hot, that means tell me that you're expelling energy. And the ear ringing, the low pitch ear ringing in the right ear are going to be your spirit guides. The high pitch ringing in the right ear are going to be your angels, and the left one is usually going to be your loved ones. So let me see here. Is the energy powerful right now? Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I said, the Schumann resonance has been spiking because we had another solar flare a couple days ago. So absolutely. Yeah, like I said, you're going to want to ground. This one weirdly kind of hit the, you'll notice that your throat is kind of acting kind of weird. So in your ears too. So this one hit the throat chakra and the crown. So we're all going to be la, la, la for the next couple days. So like I said, really ground down hard, ground hard. Because people always want to open up their third eye and their crown, but they always forget about their root chakra. And I'm like, well, the energy isn't going to flow very well if you are not balanced and centered. And being balanced and centered means opening up your root. Is self-reflection happening to everybody right now? Yes. Yep, that's the name of the game right now, is self-reflection, inner work, figuring out who you are now, because over the last, even since January, you're not the same person. Haven't you noticed that? That's how quickly we're advancing at this point. So you need to check in with yourself a lot. a lot because you are not the same person that you were. So now you got to figure out who you are all over again and what your wants are, what your needs are, what your goals are, who needs to be around you, who needs to go. So that's going to be made very apparent over the next couple weeks with the eclipses. You're going to find out real quick who's going to be in your world and who needs to get the hell out of it. So just because somebody leaves your world doesn't mean you should chase them. God takes people out of your life for a reason. Don't be chasing them down. Don't. Let them go. Let them go. You outgrew them. Yeah, it had a dream that somebody was putting a crown on you and taking off another. That is absolutely your crown chakra opening up. You bet. Childhood trauma still around. Will hypnosis it'll help, Annie. Absolutely. Hypnosis does help to kind of bring that to the surface. Personally, I like the EMDR therapy when it comes to working with childhood trauma. Because here's the deal. We don't want to open up Pandora's box if your soul, your ego might be ready, but your soul might not be ready. So I always have to tell people, be kind of careful with that. But I like the EMDR because you're able to bring it out slowly and deal with it in little tiny bits. Let's see here. Are all teenagers acting like they have no brain? Oh, hang on. I got one. Hey, babe, get this one. Come out here for a sec. Oh, this is good. We have 3 teenagers. 3. 18 and 2 19-year-olds. Somebody's asking, are all teenagers just lose their brains or what?
Oh, yeah.
See, I told you. Absolutely. They've lost their damn mind. And I'm like, if you want money, you have to work for it. Well, I'm like, wow. So yeah. Yeah, they're idiots. So, and I get it. Their frontal lobe isn't done developing. Like, I get it. I understand, but Lord have mercy. My patience is thin, real thin. Been working on that though. So, let's see. Spouse and I are not growing together, and I know it's not working. Should you move on? Oftentimes, yes, because when you're going through a spiritual awakening and the other person isn't, vibrationally speaking, you are on 2 different worlds. You're on 2 different worlds. And it's really difficult to communicate to somebody on Mars when you're on Jupiter. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's tough. It's really tough to be in a relationship where one person's enlightened and the other one isn't. It's the one that's enlightened accidentally, not purposely, accidentally outgrew that relationship. So I actually cheated on my first husband and left him for another guy. And at the time, I didn't understand that I was going through a spiritual awakening. At the time, I didn't know what the hell I was going through. So, but like I said, I didn't know how to communicate that. I was young and dumb. But at the same time, it was one of those where I had to own it after a while, had to own it after a bit, but at the same time, I didn't know at the time what I was going through. And that was 17 years ago. So, I asked to be shown things in my dreams that I questioned, but I never am. Why? Because it's not time yet, Brooke. Be patient. So this is the hardest part, being patient with spiritual development, because your ego might be ready, your mind might be ready, but your soul is not ready. And your soul and your intuition will trump this process every single time. And the best advice I can give you is try not to pay any attention to it. Master what you know, what you have. But if you want more, acknowledge and say, okay, this is what I would like for the next step. But don't try to fascinate over it. I understand law of attraction, but if you try too hard, you're not in a place of allowance. You're actually blocking that. So that's the hardest part, is really trying to back away and say, okay, I want that, but I'm going to back away and work on what I already have and perfect that. So I know people don't want to hear that advice, but that was the advice given to me by my spirit guides. And once I started to master the clairaudient and the clairsentient, then the clairvoyant came. So, and I was doing everything you could to open it up, but they gave me the best advice. Just master what you already know. It isn't what I wanted to hear, but they were right at the time. Let's see. Yes, hubby isn't growing. Yep. I got hit in the heart chakra by somebody's sadness so much that I started to cry. Yep. That's typical empathy, B. Ambrosia. That's typical empathy. And like I said, you once you connect your heart chakra to somebody else's heart chakra, that's pure empathy right there. So you will feel their pain. But my empaths, I love you guys to death, but you always seem to connect with people's pain. I'm like, could you connect to the joy? How about if you connect to their happiness or their gratefulness? Wouldn't that be a little bit better? So, but you empaths do that because that's it's a mechanism you guys have that's built in to protect you, to be able to identify the threat in the room. So I get it. Let's see here. Reoccurring dreams about missing a flight. Rachel, that has everything to do with you feeling like you do not have enough time to get everything done, accomplished in your day. And I'm going to tell you what, life happens. So make sure that you chop down that to-do list, chop it down into smaller bits. You're taking way too many big bits at it. And as a result, you're not getting it all done. And then you feel like a failure because you're not getting it all done. Instead, I used to have that issue. Instead, break it down into three. So, but today I have to do these three things. And because here's the deal. If you do those three things and you get maybe 4 and number 5 done, you're going to feel like a winner instead of trying to get 8 things done and you only accomplish 6 because somebody stopped by or somebody called you, and then you feel like a loser. So do 3 things on the list for sure. And then after that, bonus. And then I always reward myself with a bonus. If I get more done in the day, I feel great. And then I always give myself a bonus, which tonight it's good. I got my lactate, but tonight it's going to be a Dairy Queen Blizzard. So, for crystals, how close do we need to be? As close as possible, but it depends. If you're putting it in a room, like say you're putting a piece of black tourmaline by your front door, excellent, that's going to do it. So, but generally speaking, you just kind of want it near you as close as you can. So remember, left side is your receiving side. So we want to put our crystals on the left side. Unless we're praying for somebody or giving somebody energy, then we're going to do it the right side. At a friend's house, felt a very heavy aura in their house. What's that? It means that they need a sage. That's what that means. Yeah, it means that they need a sage. Daughter, something, hang on one sec, some of these are going fast. Daughter's having challenges walking for 8 months and now hearing issues. Any ideas? Nancy, that's probably a brain imbalance, if not with the ears, but that's very common with kiddos that are neurodivergent, especially autism, ADD, ADHD. Had a dream about my sister on the back of a bike, but she's been gone for 12 years. Rosie, that is a wonderful dream. That's a visitation dream, and those are real. Those are real. How often do you need to charge a grounding pendant? You don't. You don't need to charge those. Nope. Are ley lines a thing? Yes. Yes, they are. Sedona happens to lie on a couple ley lines. They all kind of cross or kind of all go there in one spot. So that's why everybody always flocks to Sedona. Same with Machu Picchu. Can you do trance medium? No, I do not channel. No. I don't want, when I first started doing mediumship, spirit would come along and blend into my auric field and use my aura or my auric field to be able to communicate with me effectively. After a while, I was able to have them use your energy or the person that I was reading. So that eliminated a lot of drag, a lot of energy drain. So I do it that way. I don't allow spirit to Otome Brown me and come inside. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I like to be in control of my body. I earned it. So no, I do not channel or do trance mediumship. Let's see. EMF strong again today. It is. It's been. Severe IBS issues. Any parasites. Elated. that it's weird because that, first of all, work on your solar plexus because that's where it's all sitting at. The second thing, for me, it sounds very nutritional. And if that's the case, I'm going to have you reach out to Jason Ott with Empowered Prevention. Good guy. He knows nutrition. He's very much like me, only he does the body side of things. I do things with the mind and the soul. So Empowerment Prevention, that's the name of his business. You might want to check him out. I think he's going to have some better recommendations. But as long as you're doing the parasitic cleanse, the next one might be a heavy metal issue. Not sure though. So, but that's a good question for Jason. Let's see. Horrible pelvic pain, UTI for years, no UTI. Haley, if that's the case, most likely that is going to be because you're quite literally pissed off, and you're pissed off at somebody. So, and you being pissed off, people don't piss you off. You allow yourself to get pissed off. So instead of you getting pissed off, you have to start thinking about this in a different way. So, and a lot of times as mothers, we get pissed off at our kids, but you know what? My kids acting like idiots right now is not a reflection on me. They know right from wrong. I taught them that, but guess what? They're teenagers. And by God, they've got to learn it the hard way because that frontal lobe isn't done developing. So do you think they have common sense? No. So they're going to find out really quick what happens when you don't save your money and you spend it on things like Starbucks and pizza. And all of a sudden that bill's due and they're not going to have enough money. Yeah. What do I think about the medical medium book? Not only yes, but hell yes, especially with autoimmune or viral issues. Yes, absolutely yes. Let's see here. So for the past week, seeing 333, that's a good number. But once you see one replicating number, you'll see all replicating numbers. So, but if you see a bunch of replicating numbers in one day, you're vibing really, really high. Okay. Are they trying to block the sun with chemtrails? Yeah. Well, they're not blocking the sun. They're saying that, but it's what's in the chemtrails, which is a bunch of aluminum and other crap. That's not good stuff. So, and why we're all not banding together and stopping this shit is beyond me. What about dreams that you have trouble waking up from? It's happened a couple times to me recently. Ask not to see those before you go to bed. Yeah, ask God not to have that happen. And usually that works. Best practice for self-initiation in reading energy, just use tools. We have tools for a reason. If that means that you want to use a pendulum, if that means that you want to use tarot cards, dowsing rods, whatever floats your boat. So don't be afraid to use your tools. I still use tarot cards. When I was reading people, I still use tarot cards. And a lot of people who've been doing this for years would flip me shit about it. And I'm like, you know what? I know they work. I know the method that I use works. Why would I change something that's not broken? I'm not going to. So like I said, do some sort of modality that might work for you. Falling down and breaking bones 3 times since January. Alexis, if you're falling down and breaking bones, it depends on which bone that you're breaking, but that's just pure stubbornness and anger. A lot of stubbornness. You don't like change. Being asked to teach about what I know about spirituality, advice, teach what you really know. I know that sounds weird, but what do you feel like you could teach right now that you feel like you could be a master in or an expert in? Do empaths feel and know about people who will be sick and will die? Usually, yes, they do. Yeah, they can. They actually have a really good innate way of doing that, and they're damn good judges of character too. Let's see here. Pain in the left elbow. That has issues with your mama. You don't want to let go, or you're probably still living at home, or it has issues with your mother and letting go. You're still trying to grasp old school stuff. I'm like, nah, let it go. Let's see here. Somebody told me that they're a Skywalker. I have no idea what the hell a Skywalker is outside of, Jedi stuff, but no, I don't know what they mean by that. Eva saying pain in the neck. Pain in the neck is literally that, pain in the neck. So somebody around you is a pain in the neck. And instead of you dealing with that irritation, you're allowing it to continue. Let's see. What are your favorite books on enlightenment? I have a whole list on my Psychic Medium page. So if you go to psychickelly.com, I have a whole list. Let's see. What's the correct way to ask God for what we want in life? You can't. That's up to you to decide, not God. So that's up for you to decide. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. It's just you have to figure out who you are. So, and in order for, and this is what I tell my girls too, is that right now they're floating. They're just like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I'm like, there's two things I want you to do and two things only, because we got to walk before we can run. One, learn how to meditate. Paige is like, I can't do it. I'm like, I know. So, but first things first, learn how to meditate. Number two, get 3 goals that you feel that you could accomplish in 6 months and write them down on a piece of paper, and then write down 3 things that you feel that you would want in a year. So 3 goals for 6 months, 3 goals for a year. Where could you go? What could you get? What could you do that's going to make you happy? That when you're able to do that, then you can identify your wants and needs, therefore identifying who you are. So just doing those 2 simple things is where you need to start. And I will tell you, as an adult with ADHD, it took me 2 freaking years to really figure out meditation. And I'm going to tell you that if it really bothers you to sit there and do absolutely nothing, then that means to tell me that you don't know who you are and you can't stand yourself long enough to just sit there and chill. So your job is to sit there and be bored. That's it. That's what meditation is. So you don't even worry about trying to get your thoughts to be quiet. That's not going to happen off the bat. Your job is to learn how to sit there for 10 minutes, be bored, and do absolutely nothing. That in itself is hard. I am fully aware of that. So, but that's where we have to start. That's where we have to start, right? We got to learn how to walk before we can run. Can anxiety trigger AFib? Absolutely, yes. But remember, ask yourself, is it anxiety or is it because of a solar flare or a Schumann resonance spike? Anxiety simply means that you are trying to control the future, knowing you have no control over it. So you're already doing the what if scenario 100 million times in your head when that scenario probably won't even happen. But what's worse is now you're putting law of attraction at play, which is even worse. So we don't want to do that. Like I said, I don't have hope or expectation on anything anymore. No, I have goals, ambitions, and dreams, but I do not have like hope or expectation on how I'm supposed to get there or when I'm supposed to get there. That's not my job. That's not my job. That's Spirit's job. My job is to know who I am, what I want, where I'm going. That's it. How and when, not my job. Not my job. Let's see. How do you know if somebody's a good match for you? As weird as it is, you feel like you can be friends with them first and not like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this guy naked. Like, it's not a lust thing at all. It's like, well, yeah, you're pretty cool, I guess. And then you find out you guys have a lot in common and you're like, okay, well, when's the shoe going to drop? Like, when's the shoe going to drop? So, and usually if they're a soulmate, it will be organic. It'll be easy. And again, you're wondering, when's the shoe going to drop? So I can only chill for a couple days. Janice right here. I'm with you, sister. So I can't 2 days max for me, and I got to get busy with something. So is there a reason for my tongue always on the roof of my mouth? Rosie, a lot of times it goes back with your mother. So if you're dealing with issues with your mother, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be, it's a nursing thing. It goes back to nursing. So it very well could be your mother or a daughter that you're dealing with. And that's oftentimes when we're going to do that. How do you identify your spirit animal? Ask. I know that sounds weird, but on average, we're going to have one mammal, one bird, one insect. And so just like, okay, guys, okay, God, angel, spirit guide, whoever else is on my side over here, I would like to know what my spirit mammal is. And you will see it over and over and over and over. You'll just keep seeing it. Okay. So, and you'll know it because you're like, okay, wait a second. How about this one? And then you do it again and then they show up. So yeah, that's usually what, just ask. I think a lot of people forget to ask. So, Connie's asking, will I meet Mr. Right this year? And Connie, I'm already telling you that you're not going to because you didn't word it right. No. We don't ask things like that. We command. I will meet my soulmate this year. That's it. That's it. God, I want you to help me meet my soulmate this year. I'm ready. That's how we ask. We don't ask necessarily with questions. And that's the one thing my spirit guides really got on my butt about. And they're like, would you just get to the damn point? Don't sugarcoat it. What do you want? I'm like, well, this would be nice. No, what do you want? And it wasn't until I started kind of commanding or demanding what I wanted, everything changed. And I'm like, so you're not supposed to ask? They're like, that is a human constraint, not a spiritual one. Not a spiritual one. What do you want? Well, I want this. Okay, good. We'll help you with that then. I'm like, that's what they're like, don't ask, just what do you want? I'm like, got it. Tips for letting shit go. Really you have to look at things from a higher perspective. You can't take things personal anymore. Just because somebody's bitter and angry at me, doesn't mean I'm going to be, I have to forgive them right away. One, probably because they're unenlightened and they don't know any better because they're a bunch of idiots. So, and number two, oftentimes I'm going to go, I have to learn how to react completely differently to this. So this problem doesn't keep coming at me. So it wasn't, for instance, I had one that everybody kept saying for a long time, you're so intimidating. You're so intimidating. I'm like, I'm not intimidating. And then I'm like, what am I doing wrong to seem so intimidating? And I realized it wasn't me. I'm not intimidating. You're weak. I know who I am. I know my connection to God source energy. You don't. So that's why I feel intimidating to you, because I am pretty confident with who I am. So, and you don't. And as a result, that makes you feel weak, but yet you're going to blame me for it. Let it go. So I've really had to look at this and go, not to take things personal. It's not personal. It's not. So I've really had to start, you have to look at things from this big, huge, higher perspective, so much easier, because then you're not necessarily emotionally invested anymore. Is this a big year for karma to come into play? I'll tell you what, if you are enlightened and you're seeing the 1111, right? And you're watching me, you're probably enlightened. But if you are enlightened, you don't have to worry about past karma. That's already been paid. You wouldn't go through a spiritual awakening if your karmic debt wasn't paid. However, you're still getting karmic debt now. So if I pop off on somebody, oh, I'm going to get it. I'll get it within 24 hours. And you know what? Sometimes I'll take that debt. That's fine. I know it's coming. That's fine. That's fine. So, but any karma that's coming to you is going to be because you did something, you thought something. That's checks and balances here. So, but almost always your karmic debt is paid in full the minute you start to go through a spiritual awakening. Okay. Now you're still going to have bumps in the road because we have a contract. About every 7 to 9 years, you're going to eat some serious dirt. So, but that's part of the program. That's part of the contract you signed up for. All right. Why do I always see 1111? Because you're going through a spiritual awakening. Welcome to the club. So after that, you're going to start to see combinations of 311, 611, 911, and then pretty soon 333. So, and then you'll see all the other numbers too. It's your job to decipher what those numbers mean for you. So those numbers, every time I see 1111 anymore, my spirit guide's like, what you thinking about? Because clearly it's not good. What's in your brain? What are you thinking about right now? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. So I did see it today because I was in a negative mindset at that moment, and I saw it and I'm like, all right, I got it. And then that's when I decided, screw this, I'm going outside. I need Mother Nature. We're going to go outside. Let's see. Will I be you in the future? God, I hope not. Be you. So I got to a point when I announced that I was going to be a psychic medium in Nebraska. I knew I had to have some really thick skin, and I knew that people were not going to agree with me, like me, or stand with what I see. But I knew if I stayed true to me, that everything was going to work out. I just knew that. And Spirit always reassured me, just be you. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna trust you on this one. So, and every time I do, it's gone awesome. It's never gone wrong. It's when my ego gets involved that I screw it up. Should I launch my website this month or do it this month? There's no Mercury. You don't want to launch anything in a Mercury retrograde or in between two eclipses necessarily. Do it now. Let's see. Windshield foggy appeared. Would it be a message from your spirit guides? Yes, it would be. Seeing fives a lot. That means change is on its way. Change is on its way. That's good. So twos always mean either balance or that your manifestation is coming. Can I talk about fluoride? Yeah, we don't want that shit in our water. So the reason why they put fluoride's a neurotoxin. Okay, so we're not supposed to be drinking that shit, but yet, but it's good for our teeth, says the studies. Yeah, sure, I'm not buying it. So understand that the reason why we're drinking fluoride is because it keeps your pineal gland calcified. So if your pineal gland is calcified, you're unenlightened. Your third eye chakra or your third eye and your crown chakra won't open. So unenlightened people, the muggles out there, the Karens out there have calcified pineal glands due to fluoride. It's all due to fluoride. So, but here's the deal. Why do they put it in our water? Well, heaven forbid we have a bunch of enlightened people coming together to upthrow the people who are completely and continuously adding chemicals to our air, water, soil, food. So we're getting sick of it, and we're just about ready to all start banding together so we can start changing things. And so people want to know what they could do to help with change. Support the change makers right now. Support those change makers. So, and I'll tell you what, those change makers are going to be the millennials. They're the ones, our children from the Gen Xers, it's going to be our kids who are going to lead this pack. And we got to support them. We need to support them. So, I mean, look at the kids in Tennessee and what they're doing. They're leading the pack. We need to support them. So the best thing you can do, posting opinions on social media isn't going to do it. It's not, but you should support those people that are already infiltrating into those fields, that are standing up against the school boards, that are standing up against the government, that are standing up against the broken systems of education and healthcare and political. We have to support those people. We're already starting to, and that we're not going to be able to do it. We have to do it together as a collective, as a group, and you're starting to see it. We're starting to finally see it. I'm so excited. I knew it was going to happen this year. I'm super, super excited. And they're going to try to do some tricky shit. So, but that's what I'm going to at least fair warn you on and be like, don't buy this, don't buy that. Like, don't do it. So, but like I said, nothing's going to get better unless we start banding together for change, because they're going to try to really start restricting our rights. So, let's see here. When I give gratitude, those things break. What am I doing wrong? Brianna, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Giving it just means that momentum then has stopped. So that's okay. That momentum just stopped. That's okay. So that just means to tell me that if it breaks, that's not supposed to be in your world, even though you're thanking it to let it go. Thank it to let it go. Dad passed almost 3 years ago. Does he ever check in on me? They always do. My dad's been gone for over damn near 25 years now. Oh, he still checks in. Yeah, still does. Is there a way to align chakras when you can't do Reiki? Yes. So each chakra vibrates or resonates at a certain frequency. Go to YouTube. There's a plenty of free different frequencies or hertz that you could listen to help align your chakras. Essential oils can do it. Music can do it. colors can do it, crystals can do it, and emotions can do it too. So there's plenty of different ways that you can align, balance, and open up your chakra system besides Reiki. Let's see. Do we get different spirit guides? Throughout the years, yes, you do. You're going to have one main spirit guide that'll stick with you from day one to the day you leave. And then we have a few through childhood, few through teenage, few through motherhood, raising children, few through retirement. So it depends. But on average, we have anywhere from 1 to 7 or so. So, but just because you have 7 doesn't mean that you're going to be in more trouble or whatever. That's not the case. Let's see. Super sensitive energetically, take on others' disharmony, pain, etc. Suggestions. Do the bubble trick. Bubble trick is saying something like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. You imagine you're a big white bubble that is like a disco ball. That's going to reflect their energy back, so you're not over empathizing. Bubble tricks really work. They do. And black tourmaline helps too. How to avoid spiritual fear mongers. They're everywhere and so negative. I don't know. I don't know when all of a sudden our spiritual team became all scared and, oh no, the world's going to end. Well, so what if it's going to? So if you were to die tomorrow and that scares the shit out of you, then you're not living life. Simple. Simple. So if you were to die tomorrow, what the hell do you need to do to get your affairs in order? Are you doing the job that you really want to do? Are you teaching your kids really what you want to do? Are you living your life the way that you really should? Or are you just living your life so you can be status quo, not upset anybody, hopefully get a pat on the head from your mommy or your daddy? So I'm like, are you living your life or are you conforming? So I'm going to live my life the way that I want to with my life. If my mom has a problem with it, that's her problem. I'm the only person I have to check in with is my husband, well, and my kid, because he's 18. So 19-year-old girls, they're out of the house. They're on their own. So like I said, I'm only responsible for myself, and I have to check in with him. That's it. That's it. So like I said, if I can honestly say, if I die tomorrow, I played my cards. I did everything up to this point that I wanted to do. Absolutely. And I am A-okay with that. So, and if, like I said, if you guys aren't feeling that, then you're not living life, and it's time to really sit back. And this week is perfect for introspection. This is the week to sit back and go, what can I get more in my life that's going to make me happy? Or what can I cut out of my life to allow more things to happen in my life to make me happy? So, and a lot of people don't think that because they have this savior behavior, thinking that somebody's going to come in and rescue them. I'm like, that's in fairy tales, and we're not in princess land. So that doesn't work. So you have to save yourself. You've got to work on you. And again, that's not easy. I know it's not. Meditation's hard. It's really hard. Separated 8 months, need to get them to sign papers. Any advice? Negotiate the best that you can. Tips for fibro pain. CBD actually works really well, but make sure, a lot of times fibro isn't really fibro. They don't know what autoimmune issue that you have, so they just lump it into that. So I'm going to tell you to read the book Medical Medium by Anthony Williams. I like that book. That's really going to help you out with better pain management. Oftentimes it is a nutritional deficiency. But true fibromyalgia are people who get attention from victimhood, because when you were sick as a child, you got more attention from your mom and your dad. So sometimes adults, when they grow up, when they're back in the hospital, they post it all over Facebook for the pity party. Oh, poor me, look at me again. So if it's true fibro, then that's going to be the emotional cause back behind it. It's victimhood, but you get attention from that victimhood. What is the narc's karma? Do they come back as empaths? Usually, yes, but it also depends on what they did. So if they stole everybody's money, well, they're going to be a hungry Ethiopian on the other side when they come back around again. You know what I mean? So Yeah, they always get what's coming to them. Let's see. Wedding ring causing a black ring around your finger. Amy, you'll notice that I don't wear a lot of jewelry. I wear these earrings and I have to clean them very often because they get clouded. And somebody said it's because of we have a higher vibration, and sometimes metal with a higher vibration, especially silver, isn't really good. So I think that's why gold is always kind of the standard for jewelry, because it does vibrate higher, which, by the way, what did they bring baby Jesus when he was born? Gold, frankincense, myrrh. Those are extremely high vibrational things. So that's why we should be wearing gold and not silver. La, 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 la. I feel like you interact with a lot of nasty people. How to avoid them? Like I said, bubble tricks. Do the bubble tricks. Those really help. Make sure you guys are taking salt baths too. So like sea salt, Himalayan salt, kosher salt. That's all been blessed, right? So any of that stuff, I take a cup of salt and put it in my bathtub. That's really going to help to recharge your batteries after somebody drains you. So that's a really good one for my empaths to remember. And if you don't have a bathtub, put some like in a little container like this, a little bit of salt, add some water to it, swish it around, get your hair wet, boom, right on the crown it goes, rinse it out, good to go. Okay. Will I find a daycare for my boys? I just lost it. Oh, Tessa, you will. Yeah, you will. I'm not worried about that one. Does a hot tub pool count as moon water? Yes, it does if you take the cover off of it. I know some people that'll get some big clear quartz crystals and they charge them in the full moon and put them in their hot tub. I was like, duh, right? Constant headaches between the eyebrows and tension headaches. Heather, if they're true headaches, because it sounds more like it's a third eye issue, but if it's true headaches like that, it's a perfectionism issue. You're trying to be perfect with everything. Otherwise, if that's the case, it very well could be your third eye. Your third eye needs a little Visine. So maybe some lapis or something like a crystal that's going to help to stabilize that just a little bit better. Can you make moon water, plastic bottles? You can. Honestly, on the cheap last time, because I ran out of time, it was like I literally threw everything outside. I had a 6-pack of like hint water. I threw it outside. So what do you do with moon water? Oh, you drink it or bathe in it or cook with it. But it changes the frequency or the vibration of water. So if you hold water and you say, I love you, you're actually infusing that with positive energy. So but you're doing that with the full moon too. Let's see. Is it a good time to resign your position and seek employment elsewhere? Abso-freaking-lutely. This is your month for change. If you're going to change anything, this is the month to do it. Absolutely, hell yes. Can you help a spirit go to heaven without angels coming down to get them? You can, but there's a specific type of angel called carrion angels. They look like the Dementors off of Harry Potter. That's where the Grim Reaper comes from. They're really kind of dirty, gritty looking angels. That's because they have to go from a high vibration to a pretty low vibration to grab a lost soul, take them home and go. So those are called carrion angels. Those are specific for taking lost souls home. So, but you can, but you'll have to convince spirit that they're actually dead and that their family's waiting for them on the other side. But oftentimes, if they're still here as ghosts, they're just a bunch of assholes that don't know that they're dead and want you out of their house, even though it's not their house anymore. So, or they committed suicide and they're scared to cross over because of judgment, or they want to avenge their murder. So I've heard it all. So, yeah. Seeing white mist corner of the eyes. Ooh, that's your spirit guides. That's a good one. Could be angels too, but that means to tell me that your clairvoyance is kicking in. That's a good one. Do our souls have a soul name? No, because names are a human constraint. We have a frequency or a vibration, and we're recognized by that frequency and by that vibration. So remember, when you die, you don't have ears and eyes, and you don't. You're a soul, which technically looks like a round softball that's gold and white. So when you die, we all look the same. The black guy, the gay guy, the Chinese lady, we all look identical when we die. That's why when you hear the word namaste, means the one in me honors the one in you. It's because we really are the same, even though we have a different meat suit and we might have different views or perspectives. At the end of the day, we're still the same person, which is a piece of God's light, God's source energy. Yes, your desert tektite took a hit for you. Yes. Sleep in a recliner when I breathe sounds like somebody else is breathing right after me in my ear. Who is it? Usually that is going to be your spirit guide. At any point in time, if you don't feel like it's maybe somebody, always say something. If you're for my highest good, you can stay. If not, get the hell out. So always demand and command. Like I don't, like I said, if I know there's spirit around me, the first thing I'm going to say is, if you're for my highest good, you can stick around, or my family's highest good, you can stick around. And sometimes they'll leave and sometimes they stay. Are people attracted to other people that have our same level of vibration? Yes, that's what law of vibration is. There's 12 universal laws here in the world. And one of those laws is law of vibration. Like energy attracts like energy. So if you want to know your frequency, if you want to know where you're at, check your best friend. Because if your best friend's a freaking negative bitch, so are you. Like energy attracts like energy. Fairies, thoughts? Yep, they're real. So is Bigfoot, so is gnomes and all that stuff. They just happen to be in a different dimension. They're in a 3D dimension or 4D dimension. So we're just simply put, they're just one dimension away. Can they show up? Yep, they can. You just don't, nobody, again, you forget to ask. So if you want to ask for fairies to show up, ask them to show up at sundown or sunrise. They'll show up. You'll see them. They look bigger than dragonflies and they kind of have a weird glow to them. So, but ask them to show up. And then oftentimes, if you leave a fairy garden, I am not kidding, leave a fairy garden. They appreciate that. They will show up. And you never, ever walk inside of a fairy ring, which the next rain that we have, you might actually see that happen. So fairy rings are like those rings with mushrooms around them. Don't ever walk inside one of those. That's a no-no. So, because trust me, there's guardians to every cemetery too, and they've got guardians too. You don't want to mess with, they're mischievous. Tips for Capricorns right now. Ooh, you guys got it tough right now. Just like I said, let go. Quit trying to hold on to things that you want. Let them go. If they're slipping through your fingers, if things are moving away from you, if things are breaking, let all that stuff go. Let it go. I know it's hard, but let it go. Let it go. What does it always mean to always cut hands, fingers accidentally, Andy? Usually that has to do with like bursts of anger. You're fine, but then you have bursts of anger, and it's usually because something you're trying to hold on to that you need to let go of, but you're holding on to it and you're angry about it. Let it go. Let it go. Is it possible to block all dreams after a real nightmare? No, but I am going to have you look up the meaning of that nightmare, because if you're going through a nightmare, usually remember that's self-reflective on your day. So that means to tell me that you got drama that you need to let go of or address, because nightmares or tornadoes or seeing the devil or anything like that, whenever you see that, you're going through a big change. So, and that's normal. It's par for the course, believe it or not. But always look them up, because what you think they mean doesn't always mean what you think they do. So how can one person get me so pissed off? You want to know why, Janice? Because you're trying to control them, and you don't have control over anybody. So you want them to see things from your perspective. They don't have that ability to do that. They can't. So instead, you have to look at things from their perspective and forgive them for their ignorance. You're trying, like I say, you're just trying to control them. You can't. You can't get anybody to see your perspective. You can't control anybody. And that's what anger is. So, and ultimately, if you're angry, you're just really hurt and you're not expressing that hurt. That's what anger is. Sadness and hurts like bodyguard, right? Anger is that's the bodyguard to hurt. So hurt people. Angry people are hurt people. Let's see. What is it when you sneeze more than 3 or 4 times in a row? I have no idea, but my husband does that. I got to look into that. I'll have to see if that is a spiritual thing or not. It's actually that's a legit question. Struggling with weight, any suggestions? My best suggestion for you is that if you eat something, do not eat with guilt. Don't eat with guilt. Guilt holds fat to your butt. So don't eat with guilt. No, you're going to eat that damn bowl of ice cream because you earned it. You're not going to feel bad about it. No, you earned it. Eat it. Let's see. Was an abusive relationship 15 years ago. Why does he keep haunting me in my dreams? If he does, make sure that you're not reacting the same way now as you did then. Remember, just because somebody did that to you back then doesn't mean this person is going to do it to you now. So you have to trust that person 110% not to do that now. And that tells me that you don't trust them yet. So you have to let that wall down. That's hard, being vulnerable. Trust me. He had to call me out on it. So like, I had horrible relationships. I've had alcoholics, bipolar alcoholic. I've had the ones that hit me. Like, I've had them all. I've had them all. And it wasn't until Eric was like, you have got to let your wall down because I am not your ex-boyfriends. Okay. I'm me and I'm not going to hurt you. I love you very much. I'm not going to hurt you. You've got to let your wall down. You mean to tell me that I need to be vulnerable? Fine. And you know what? That has always been a struggle with me, but not anymore. Not anymore. He's never hurt me. Never. So I don't have to worry about any of that. Did EVP and you can hear a spirit walking up to me. Sounds like hardwood floor. Said, hope. Would that be good? I don't, like I said, hopefully that's your spirit guide talking to you. Like I said, anytime I'm going to do an EVP session, again, just like using any tool, whether that's, again, a pendulum, a Ouija board, tarot cards, runes, whatever you choose to use as a tool, remember that we're always going to put it out there. I only want to communicate with people with spirit that is for my highest good. Okay. We don't want to communicate to a bunch of ghosts living around. Like, we don't want to do that, because then you're going to open up the world to something that you probably shouldn't. So again, we always want to start off on the right foot by setting a boundary and saying, I'm only going to communicate to people that are for my highest good. That's it. That's it. Thought you needed reading glasses. Eyes gotten better. Mine actually got a little bit better too. So that happens when your third eye opens. I know that's weird, but your third eye has rods and cones in it too. So do your eyeballs. And I think that has something to do with that. Used to have precognitive dreams, not having them anymore. Why? Tiffany, that is because your reality is always going to take precedence over your spirituality. So that means to tell me that you got to deal with some shit in your reality. That's what it means. That's what it means. Remodeling house, sage now or after? Both. Both. Whenever you remodel a house, that's usually when spirit activity skyrockets. So I would say both. Like, you can't sage enough anyway. So, I do it. How do we invite spirit? Ask. I only want to talk to people for my highest good. I only, spirit guides, I want to learn. I want to meet one of my spirit guides, not all, one. And usually they're going to show up in a dream, or they're going to show up in a way that's going to be kind of startling, but not scary. Big difference in that. Scary is scary, startling is not. Startling is like you hear your name right before you're ready to fall asleep and you're like, that sounds like my mom. And then your brain is like, wait a second, you just heard a name. I just heard something. So that's when your ego pops in. But that's the difference between being startled and being scared. There's a big difference in that. Rainbow arcs and right vision, not migraine related. If it's, just make sure that if that doesn't go away in like a month, I'd maybe go to the eye doctor and get that one checked out. So, because sometimes when things start putting pressure on eyes, we can have those things. So, let's see. I connect with kids, but can't have one. Julie, that's okay. That's okay. That means to tell me that probably in a previous life you had 12 and you were like, I'm not doing it in this life. You're like, okay, fine. Is it okay to answer the voice that calls your name? I do. I do. As a matter of fact, that's when I was 19, that's when I shut everything down. When I was 19, I was getting ready to fall asleep and I was in my apartment and I knew somebody was in there. I could feel it. And I heard my name being called and I said, okay, say it again. And I heard Kelly. And then I thought in my head, well, if you knew me, then you'd know my middle name, Kelly Ann. That's when I shut it down. That's when I shut this down and I got it turned back on. I remember turning it back on when Stephen was just recently born. Because I'm like, okay, God, I can remember, you know, I'm an adult. Go ahead and turn that back on. That's when I started to go through my spiritual awakening. So, and Stephen is 18, so it's been a while. Skin cancer is holding on to resentment and usually lack of self-confidence, holding on to resentment with the reason why you don't have that self-confidence. So my dad died of skin cancer. They didn't know he was deaf until he was a senior in high school, and he, you know, got in trouble a lot because he wasn't paying attention. So when he finally got hearing aids in, they were really big and bulky. So he would make fun of himself before anybody else could because he lacked that self-confidence and held on to resentment with his parents. And that's why he died at 45 due to skin cancer. Am I going to start feeling better soon? No, Eva, we don't ask that question. We say, no, I will start feeling better soon. So you will start feeling better soon. Can't tolerate meat. Right here, I can't either. I can do beef still okay, chicken turkey okay. That's about it. Fish is pork is a hell no. So let's see. My cats are seeing and talking with somebody I can't see. Any thoughts? Oh yeah, if you sage your house pretty often and your cats are looking at people or spirit, it's always going to be your loved ones. Always. Have dreams that are really vivid when you wake up, not sure if it happened or not. Oh, it did. Oh, it did. So, oh yeah, I remember I'm really good at when I'm waking up, I either verbally say out loud what I can remember in my dream, or I'm going to write it down. When I first started this, I wrote everything down. So now I just kind of say it out loud. What do you say when you sage? What I say when I do it here is I'll say something, you know, God, angels, please fill this house with love and light. Anything not serving me or my family's highest good must leave now. Yep. Do cats astral travel? Yep, they do. They are able to go in a theta state, which a theta state is the state that is right before we're ready to fall asleep. That feeling, that's a theta state. That is a state that you want to be in when you meditate, when you want to talk to spirit. That's the best state to be in. So oftentimes at 3 in the morning, when you wake up at 3, 3:30, 3:33, 3:11, 2:22, 4:44, when you're waking up at those times, that's usually the best time to talk to your spirit guides because you're in a theta state. You're in a slower brain state. So that makes it a little bit easier to talk to your spirit guides and your loved ones that way. That's actually the best time. Spouse going to the doctor, can't find anything wrong, aging fast, always feels like crap. How does he heal? Stephanie, you keep going to doctors until they hear you. That is the problem with the healthcare system, is that nobody gets taken seriously. So you keep going to a damn doctor until they hear you. And if that means that you request a gastroenterologist, if that means that you request an immunologist, do what you need to do. I'm fully, like I said, don't feel like just because a doctor tells you he's fine, that doesn't mean that that's correct. Go to another doctor, and you keep going to different doctors until somebody is able to hear you. Unfortunately, you have to be your best advocate when it comes to the healthcare system because it's a broken system. I can still see when your eyes are closed. Yep. So that's not astral traveling. That's actually more remote viewing. So remote viewing is when you can see things through your third eye, kind of as an overview. Astral traveling is your soul leaving the body and then going to go look at stuff. So astral traveling has a potential to be a little bit more dangerous than remote viewing. But people that are able to remote view have the tendency to be musically inclined. What's a conspiracy theory that you know to be true? There's a lot. I just discussed one about the fluoride. So same with the chemtrails. Oh, they're trying to block the sun. No, they're not. They're trying to poison us from the air. So, and that's why all of us right now are having a lot of heavy metal issues. It's not mercury that you need to worry about. It's aluminum. So, I mean, look, think about it. We eat out of aluminum cans. We drink out of aluminum cans. We put aluminum in our deodorant. We get sprayed aluminum. That's the heavy metal issues that we're having. So, let's see here. Zotox and black walnut hull, good to tar. Honestly, I don't know. My brother is a chiropractor. I do what he tells me to do. So I do a like a food cleanse, I guess you want to call that. I do that once a year. It's an absolute detox. It's a fasting type of detox, but it works. So, but I would say honestly, if you're going to do that, go talk to, like I said, Jason Ott at Empowerment Prevention. He's the best guy for that. Let's see. Why do I keep seeing 999? Brooke, a lot of that means that you just kind of completed a cycle. It's kind of a pat on the back, like, good job. You just got done completing a cycle. Let's see. Heard Cardinal asked if it's my mom and left. So no, it very well could be. So that if that's the case, it could be just one, you happen to bump into it. Two, it could be a possible like spirit animal of yours. There's a lot of different reasons. So, how do we keep our soul in our body until completely asleep? Ask God. Ask God to do that, because I don't like to have those falling type of dreams or have the paralyzing type of dreams. That's your soul leaving and coming back in the wrong time. So just ask God for that not to happen. It'll work. Survivor late stage breast cancer. I'm on way more enlightened than before. Does that have anything to do? Usually, Julie, right before, like the announcement of breast cancer is probably what kick-started your spiritual awakening anyway. But also, if you're having, like I said, it's breast cancer to me is holding on to resentment. If it's right breast cancer, you're holding on to resentment with your husband or your ex-husband. If it's left breast cancer, you're holding on to your children, resentment with your children, or something that happened to your child because you're the overbearing mama bear. So it depends on which one, but it sounds to me like if you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're able to forgive. You're able to forgive a lot easier. And then when you forgive, then you just feel sorry for the poor guy. Let's see. Had a dream of an old book and yell Esther. Next day, friend texts us old Bible. It was Esther. Saw a YouTube video. How does this happen? Well, welcome to enlightenment. That's it. There's no such thing as a coincidence when you're enlightened. Those are called synchronicities. Those are the breadcrumbs to show you where you need to go next. Had a stroke last June, struggling to get back. Take your time on that, Susie, because you're getting new neural pathways. So be patient. That takes a while. Okay, it really does. So you're going to have to take breaks. Your body needs to recoup hardcore on that. So, and then in the meantime, I want you really working on anxiety, letting go of your anxiety. Then seeing crows, Brianna, if you're seeing a lot of crows, that has everything to do with change. So lots of change. Been getting constant metal smell. That Angelica, that means to tell me that you need a heavy metal detox cleanse. If you're tasting metal, you need to cleanse that out. That's at a higher threshold than that. That's not good. That's not good. No, we got to detox off heavy metal. If you can smell it, taste it, or pee and smell it, that's too much heavy metal in your body. Let's see. What does it mean if you find rusty nails? You probably have an iron deficiency. No joke. When it comes to a job change, how do you know whether to take the risk or take the safe path? Always take the risk. I will always take the risk, because I wouldn't have thought about it, or the opportunity wouldn't present itself if it weren't ready for me to take. Why do people have strokes? Because they're internal worriers. They're not external worriers, they're internal worriers. So it's a perfectionism, internal worry issue combo. Don't feel like I'm seeing signs like I was, feel out of sync. Yep. So if you're feeling out of sync, like I said, go back to the basics. Clean your house, meditate, reset your goals. That's the basics. And usually it's because your reality needs to take precedence a little bit more. Why do animals get cancer? It's their food. It's their food. What are good crystals for a weakened immune system? I've got an immunity kit, like a crystal kit at the Awakenings. I tell you, check that one out. But moss agate's really good. How do you ground? Literally go outside, feet to earth. That's the best way to do it, or back up against a tree. Both knee problems. Because you're chicken shit, you don't move forward with anything. You need to make sure it feels good and makes sense. And you check in with everybody like, this is a good idea, right? Right? Okay, well, maybe, I don't know if I should do that. No, I don't ask people what I should do with my life, ever. I don't even ask my husband. No. I know who I am. I don't ask questions like that. The only question I actually had today, and I actually used my pendulum because I'm like, well, should I write Crystal Academy or a book? That's where I was at. And I didn't know which one because I'm able to do both. So I'm like, but I'm a one-track mind person, so I got to figure that one out. So I did. Why do we have anxiety? Anxiety is usually, it's like I said, it's a perfectionism issue in a weird way. It's control, but it's fear. Anxiety lives in your root chakra. And you're scared of the what if. That's what anxiety is point blank fear. And you can't be fully enlightened. You can't be fully like at ease if you learn how to surrender. You've got to learn how to surrender. And when I say surrender, really truly understand you don't have control over shit. You don't. The only things you have control over is who you are, what you think, what you say, how you react. That's it. These are the only 3 things that you are in control of. And if you master those 3 things, just those 3 things, your world will be completely different in less than 3 months. That's it. Everybody always wants to make this a hell of a lot more complicated. Spirituality is simple. Be selfish. Know who you are, know your triggers, know what it is that you want out of life. But understand you don't get to control the how and the when. You don't get to control anybody outside of that. You don't. You don't have that much power. You don't have that much power. So you only can control, like I said, what you say, what you think, what you do. That's it. That's it. That's all you have control over. And once you learn how to surrender and really, truly understand that, life is easy. Life is so much easier, more fun, way more fun, way more fun. Do eye floaters mean anything? It just means that your clairvoyance is kicking into gear. That's a good thing. Yeah, Schumann spiked. Yeah, it did. Yeah, the Schumann resonance right now is off the chain. So ground. Is my mom's spirit in heaven? Everybody goes to heaven. Like everybody. Why does the world love gold? Because gold is a very high vibrational frequency. I mean, they gave it to baby Jesus, didn't they? That tells you something. Trauma work to correct health problem. Yeah, because the reason why your body is in disease, which is lack of ease, the reason why your body is in disease usually is because of a negative subconscious thought that keeps swirling around. Let's see. Grandma passed, asked her to show cruiser, different color based on how she's feeling. Saw a black one. Cousin died in an accident a few hours later. Coincidence? There's no such thing as a coincidence, Amanda. No, I don't. There's no such thing as a coincidence. No. So yeah, that's actually, Kimberly, that's great. Eat root vegetables for grounding, by the way, like potatoes, sweet potatoes, anything that you can pull out of the ground, that's a root vegetable. So eat those. Carrots are great. How do you fix back posture? Check yourself when you're on your phone. My brother, like I said, my brother's a chiropractor and he is up my ass constantly. He's like, put your shoulders back, put your shoulders back. I'm like, so, and he's right. I'm trying to really be more conscious about putting my shoulders back. Is the grounding mat awakening spit a desk size chair? It's a little bit longer. So here, let me show you really quick. I'll show you guys mine so you can see how big it is. Oh, just trust me. I use mine. So, because here's the plug-in right here. You put it into the grounding part, the bottom part of your plug-in. So that's your ground right there. So that's what they call the grounding mat. So this is mostly shungite. Not unwind, but this is my, now I'm out at Awakenings right now. I ordered some Friday, so they should be in about 2 weeks, but this is the standard size one, like from my shoulders down past my waist. So this is the standard size one here. So this is the normal one. The mouse pad one, and it'll say mouse pad, it's about that big, works just as well. Stick it underneath your ass when you're at your desk. That's what I do. So it's better if you can put your feet on it, or any like skin, but it gets hot. I don't like that. It gets sticky. I don't like that. So but yeah, that's what I got at. Those are the ones I have at Awakenings. I'm out right now, but I do have more coming. But like I said, with the weather being nice, I've been pretty much outside all day today. You can't feel anxiety and gratitude at the same time. No, you cannot. If you feel like you need 10 to 12 hours of sleep, Susie, that's funny that you said that. I too have been sleeping a lot, like more than normal. I usually get a good 4 to 6 hours and I'm good. Lately, it's been a good 8 to 9 hours. So yeah, and weird. I usually don't sleep that well with full moons, and I actually slept pretty good this time with the full moon, which surprised me. But I'm really making sure that I'm balanced out now. I'm trying to do my work life home balance a little bit better. So I've been trying to really work on that. So trying to declutter your house and clear a room for meditation and yoga. If you're getting stuck, that's okay. Like you're just trying to do one big project. You got to cut that stuff in half. So you're trying to do a big project, and I'm like, you're going to run out of gas. So instead, focus on like I said, get the closet done, call it good, celebrate that. See images when you're awake with your eyes closed. What's that? Mary, that has everything to do with clairvoyance. So you're naturally clairvoyant. That's what that is. That's good stuff. What does it mean to see doves? Usually that is your spiritual connection, Angela. Almost always that's your spiritual connection between you and God. And that's just kind of a recognition of like, hey, we see you too, sister. So what does it mean? Body's response to a type of crystal is a no. For me, think about working with lapis, body gives you a strong no feeling, then that's exactly what it is, Celestial. It's just a no. I don't like amethyst. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I love amethyst. I'm like, I don't like it. So, and the reason why I don't like it is because I don't need it. That's why. Crystals for stress at work. I would go with black obsidian on that one. I really would. Probably rose quartz as well. Significance of bald eagles could be a spirit guide, could also be a message from a loved one, usually like grandpa or anybody that may have even potentially served in the military. What do I mean? Not a coincidence. There's no such thing in this world as a coincidence. It's called synchronicity. When you're enlightened, it's synchronicity. Unenlightened people call it a coincidence. I'm like, no. When you become enlightened and you really, truly understand how everything is connected because it is, then that's called synchronicity. It's no longer a coincidence. Unenlightened people say it's a coincidence. Enlightened people say it's synchronicity. How to shut down a negative boss? Believe it or not, compliment them. Compliment them right out the gate. Right out the gate. Hey, that sure looks good on you. Okay, so anyway, I got this question. Always give them a compliment first, and they're going to be less bitchy, especially if they're narcissistic buttholes. Because if they're narcissistic, they crave compliments. So easiest thing that you can do to get what you want from a narcissistic boss, give them a compliment, a really nice one, and then you'll be able to get whatever you want. Learn how to play the game. right? Why do I get dizzy around large group of rose quartz? Well, it's probably because it's really high vibe. So for you, what that's doing is aligning, fixing, and balancing your heart chakra. And rose quartz in particular is very big on self-love. So that means to tell me that you go from a low vibration to a high vibration, you are absolutely going to have a physical response, which is shakiness, dizziness, and feeling kind of weird. Trying to clean and declutter, find yourself emotionally attached to so much. I'm very sentimental. What can I do? Miranda, take pictures. Take pictures and really ask yourself, and I would say just keep what you feel your loved one would have wanted you to keep. Otherwise, get rid of the rest. And I will tell you, your loved ones, outside of a ring or two, they always say the same thing. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. So that's all I'm like, just stuff. But like I said, a lot of times we want to keep that because of grief, sometimes depression too. So can you wear too many crystal bracelets? No, you cannot. No, and they don't mess up each other either. So brother-in-law, 8-hour surgery yesterday, remove liver. What crystals can you send? Liver. That would be, I would go with fire agate or fire quartz, red jasper, and carnelian. So let's see here. As a child, I had a warning inside, danger waited at home, thought it was causing problems, tried to quit thinking about the danger. How do I turn this back on? It'll naturally get turned on, Shauna. It will. In the meantime, meditate, learn how to meditate, and that'll get you to a better place of allowance. So it'll get turned on. It'll get turned on when you need it. So every once in a while, I'll get those too. And so I hate those. Which ones are good for thyroid? Anything blue, anything dark blue is good for the thyroid. Yeah, the Schumann effect or the Schumann resonance has been, like I said, off the charts. Headache, dizziness, weird feelings of anxiety, even though you don't have any anxiety. That's because of it. That's where you have to go outside and you gotta ground. You gotta ground. Does Egyptian prophecy crystal work for dreams? I don't even know what the hell a prophecy crystal, and I don't know what kind of a crystal that is. I have no idea. Female cousin MRI tomorrow for her brain. Crystal suggestions, rainbow fluoride. I would do rutilated quartz and probably amethyst. So of course you got to go to Awakenings for that. So just go to awakenings.com. You can order it online. Like Angela, there's a lot of different like heavy metal toxic cleanses out there. I maybe check out Walgreens. I don't know. Though I do with what my brother tells me, because like I said, he's a chiropractor and he knows nutrition, stuff like that. Can you get too much Reiki? No, not really. No, you can't overdo it. You just, if that's the case, you're gonna poop a lot, or you're gonna detox a lot. So you'll get rashes and things like that, because you're going from a low vibration to high, and then your body's gonna try to spin it off or detox it as fast as it possibly can. Spoke to my spouse from dream twice past 2 months, same dream, muffled like somebody's covered. Well, Stephanie, if you know what, I do black tourmaline with that one, black tourmaline and black obsidian both, and I'd stick them in between, like underneath this pillow. Absolutely. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to pause there. I think I'm teaching this weekend. I know next week I'm teaching Angels and Spirit Guides workshop via Zoom. So if you're interested in that, it's $25. And then at the end of that, we will do a guided meditation. So you're able to meet your spirit guides. So if that's something you're interested in, head to, I think it's psychickelly.com, or you could head to my Facebook account and check it out there. So, but by all means, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel or any of my other channels, make sure that you do that. Also, make sure that you're also signing up for my newsletter. I try not to, I maybe send it out twice a month, if that, but that's the best way to kind of keep tabs on me. So you guys know where I'm at, what platform I'm at next, and all the other goodies and sales that we're having as well. So, but want to thank everybody for watching again tonight. I'll be doing more Q&As. Like I said, now that I have this program kind of figured out, this is great because I can go live now on 3 platforms at the same time. So I'm actually live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So this is actually working out great. The class, I believe, is next Tuesday. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and it's $25. So like I said, that's really going to be able to help. So hopefully you guys can meet your spirit guides and stuff like that. So usually the people that have taken that one always come back and we're like, whoa, like, whoa. So, because I get you into a deep meditation kind of fast so you can really get there. So, all right, guys, I want to thank everybody. Like I said, if there's any crystals that you're looking for, obviously head to Awakenings here in Omaha or any of my other affiliates, which is Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Lincoln, Nebraska, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm missing one in Omaha. Yeah. And there might be another one in the mix coming soon. Can't say where, but it's coming. So, all right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful week. And like I said, it's an introspective week. So if you need to make any serious changes, do it this week. Do it this whole month. You got a whole month to really rock the boat and make some serious changes, especially with habits too. All right, guys. Bye. Take care.